Do you believe in horoscopes? Do you believe in looking at your destiny? Have you ever went to fortune tellers or astrologers in times of crisis? Have you ever felt the need to look at your future? Has it ever happened to you that when you seek consultation from an astrologer, whatever he says about you, you feel that this is absolutely true? When he makes certain statements about you or your life, you feel that this is really true. What he is saying is absolutely right, and you are astonished that how can he know some personal things about me? Has it ever happened to you? Well, it is not the skill of the astrologer. It is actually a psychological concept called as Barnum effect or Forer effect. Barnum effect, also known as Forer effect, is a psychological phenomenon where individuals believe that vague, general statements about personality traits are highly accurate and specific to them and apply to them personally. This effect is named after the American showman P.T. Barnum, who famously said, "There is a sucker born every minute," and after psychologist Bertram Forer, who conducted an influential experiment demonstrating this effect. What is the Forer experiment? In 1948, Bertram Forer conducted a classic experiment to illustrate this phenomenon. Forer gave a personality test to his students, ostensibly to provide them with individualized personality analysis. Instead of analyzing the tests, he gave each student the same generic personality description. The description included statements like, "You have a great need for other people to like and admire you. You have a tendency to be critical of yourself. You have a great deal of unused capacity which you have not turned to your advantage. While you have some personality weaknesses, you are generally able to compensate for them." You must be feeling that these statements apply to you too, isn't it? These are some of the Barnum statements that he gave in his experiment. Forer then asked his students to rate the accuracy of the personality description on a scale from 0 to 5, with 5 being very accurate and most applicable to them. The average rating was 4.26, indicating that the students found the generic statements highly accurate. So basically in Barnum effect, what happens is that when some generic, vague, general statements are made, most people agree with those statements and feel that these statements personally apply to them. This is exactly the psychological concept exploited by astrologers and fortune tellers. The statements are intentionally vague and intentionally general, allowing individuals to interpret them in a way that seems personally meaningful to them. Also, there is a positivity bias. People tend to accept more readily statements that portray them in a positive light. Individuals also tend to connect the general statements to their own personal experiences, thereby reinforcing the perceived accuracy of those statements. What are the examples of Barnum effect in everyday life? First is horoscopes. Astrological horoscopes can often use broad statements that can apply to a wide range of people and they can interpret it as they like. Despite this, many individuals believe that horoscopes provide specific insights into their lives. Personality tests can be another example. Some popular personality assessments, especially those that are not scientifically validated, use the Barnum effect to make users believe the results are uniquely accurate. Psychics and fortune tellers often use general statements that clients interpret as highly specific to their personal situations. Several psychological mechanisms underpin the Barnum effect. First is confirmation bias. Individuals tend to focus on information that confirms their pre-existing beliefs and ignore information that contradicts them. When reading a vague statement, they may remember instances that confirm the statement and overlook instances that do not. There is a self-serving bias. People have a natural tendency to interpret information in a way that maintains and enhances their self-esteem. Vague, positive statements are readily accepted because they align with this bias. Social desirability can be another factor. There is a tendency to accept positive descriptions and reject negative ones because of the desire to be viewed favorably by others. What are the implications of Barnum effect? Understanding the Barnum effect is important for several reasons. First is critical thinking. Recognizing the Barnum effect can help individuals approach personality tests, horoscopes, and other generalized statements with a more critical eye and a pinch of salt, reducing the likelihood of being misled. Scientific validity. In psychology and other fields, it is essential to use scientifically validated tools and methods to ensure accurate and meaningful results. Marketing and manipulation. Advertisers and marketeers sometimes exploit the Barnum effect by making broad statements that appeal to a wide audience, creating the illusion of personalization. To conclude, the Barnum effect is a powerful psychological phenomenon that reveals how easily people can be convinced that vague and general statements are uniquely applicable to them. By understanding this effect, individuals can develop greater critical thinking skills and be more discerning consumers of information, especially in areas like personality assessments, horoscopes, and marketing messages. Thank you so much for listening.